I
order you to buy him a Leafs ticket.
I got really stoned the other night, and apparently I ordered this.
Oh, that's unique.
Are we supposed
Go
to believe
figure.
it? Or
Go
no?
figure.
You
Kyle
want us
got
to buy
absolutely
this?
blasted. Yeah. But he hasn't been getting as high because we haven't had to see his. Oh my God, is that the Sopranos pick?
Oh, what? Oh my God!
Please get yourself painted into it. Please. Oh, that's
that would
great.
be awesome.
Where's that gonna go? Living room above the
Bathroom.
fireplace.
My living room next to fucking Kramer. I've got Kramer in the living room in his suit sitting there, like was doing his whole thing. So Tony's going right next to him. That is Tony and his horse Pio Mai, as reimagined by Paulie Gualtieri, to make him feel less afraid, more or less, and repair some of the fire damage around the feet.
We all know the tale.
Yes.
The tale is old as time. Well, 20 years old.
Yeah, rest
Not
in
as
peace.
old as time.
Sopranos is one of those cities, one of those series that I haven't rewatched, but like I really want to. But I remember the pacing being so much slower than like say a Breaking Bad or like a more modern show, and
At
like that's
times.
the only thing that's like keeping me from rewatching it.
Yeah, I guess
I really
are
like
better
it.
if you batch watch them or binge watch them. I messed that up.
The Sopranos is often, it's a real character study, right? It's all about Tony Soprano and like seeing like how evil is he gonna get. But I'm into those slow paced like little stories. Like there's one where Paulie's like this old lady's garbage man gets beaten up, and she says to Paulie, "Oh, Mr. Gualtieri, the nice garbage man, he got beaten up and they took his root away." Or and they're like, "What? They beat him up? Yeah. He was nice. He took my trash cans out every year." And Paulie's involved. Now a real deal gangster is involved with this problem. And like it turns out that on the other end, an equally real deal gangster. And so they have to take it to the head of the family over this little old lady's. And meanwhile, the poor fucking yard man whose like arm is broken, he's the one who ends up getting fucked over because he has to pay Paulie for like, putting a word in. And he has to now like cut a bunch of people's yards for free who have nothing to do with this whole affair. He's cutting Johnny Sacrimoni's yard, a New Jersey mob, a New York mob man, cutting that guy's yard for free, even after that guy goes to prison.
He got fucked. My favorite side story is, I forget, you're gonna know this. Somebody told Tony Soprano's daughter that she looked good, or
Coco.
that Coco. And what did he say to her exactly? It was like
You got a little whipped cream there. I'd like to add a little more to it.
Oh,
Man,
Tony
must be
heard
nice
that.
to tuck her in at night.
That is pretty ghoulish.
The boyfriend stands up. We have a problem. He's like, "Hey, take it easy, kid. Just busting balls. You have a good night." And like walks away. And then she tells Tony, and doesn't want to tell Tony. She tells her mother, and the mother makes her tell Tony. And Tony's like, he starts breathing all heavy because he's a beast. And he says, he's just silly guy. Must have been drinking. Don't worry about it. I'll talk to some people. They'll get him some help.
That's what's gonna happen.
He walks into that man's bar that he owns and immediately hits him in the mouth with a pistol that he's holding. And the man goes down and he continues to beat him in the face with the pistol. "My fucking daughter!" And then he gets up and somebody's like, "Whoa!" And Butchie is, and he points the pistol at Butchie, and blood comes out of the barrel. And Butchie sits down and shuts the fuck up. And then he puts his mouth on the bar, goes to curb stomp, and Butchie goes, "Don't do it." Tony looks up like, "Oh, yeah?" Pop! And curb stomps all of his teeth out. The next scene, he's in fucking couples therapy, and there's a tooth in the cuff of his pants. He's like, "Yeah, I've been working on my anger." I think that's the penultimate episode of Sopranos. It's like the second to last episode.
Yeah, I think you're
It's
right.
one of the better side stories, I thought.
Beats the
yeah.
fuck out of him.
Yeah.
No, I like all that stuff. I've seen the Sopranos a dozen times or something like that.
So I've just been starting to watch. I'm super late to this, but I started to watch Game of Thrones, and I'm like in season 2 or 3 or something. And I get the people saying it's good, but I feel like the storylines are pretty formulaic. Like you can see things coming from a mile away. Nothing, if it's nudity or violence or whatever, like, okay, I get that it's shocking, but other than that, it's like this story is super like.
Did you go in with any spoilers? Like, did you expect Ned to die? Like you knew
no,
about that?
I knew that they killed off a lot of main characters. That's the only thing.
Knowing that's a little bit of a helpful. Did you get to Robb Stark's wedding?
No, not yet.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the show that it'll take you by surprise. They'll take some twists and turns later on, so give it a little bit more time. It is a shocking show at times, and sometimes. See, what they do a good job of is building a character up and making him your guy or your girl, and then just like killing that character. And you're like, I've seen this before. I've had my characters die. And they always go out on top, though, fighting 50 men and like sacrificing themselves to plant the flag or pull the fuse out of the bomb. That's not what's going to happen here, though. No. They're going to die in the mud, and nobody's going to be there to hear their last words. It's going to be rough.
So one of the things that I actually maybe I learned about myself, but the scene where I think it's probably season 2, where one of these dudes he kills a bunch of people in what's the Stark's the city or whatever,
Winterfell.
Yeah, Winterfell. So he kills a bunch of people and he burns 2 kids. Right.
Okay. And then this is Theon Greyjoy doing this.
There you go, Theon Greyjoy. So then they start torturing him, and then I'm like, okay, cool. You're like, let's torture this. Like this dude like burned 2 kids. All right.
So they're torturing Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you're saying. Yeah. And you're thinking he's getting his comeuppance. This is fair.
Right. It's fair. But what I kind of liked is that so they release him. And then they go on this like wild goose chase for 2 days. Mm-hmm. He gets like intercepted by this other roving band of whoever, and then he almost gets like raped in the woods. And then somebody saves him right before he's about to get assaulted. And then they take him back, like they trick him, take him back to where he was getting tortured, and then they torture him worse, and that just mind fucks him, and I'm like, oh, that's
so that storyline you're on like,
oh no, I know it gets worse. I know.
You're 2.5 out of the 10 steps so far.
Yeah, there are many levels to his hell.
Yeah, they break him, and I'm here for all of it because, like, dude, I mean, you do stuff to kids. I'm like, I don't care what happens.
Dude, it's crazy what Game of Thrones does to me. Because at some point I'm like, leave Theon alone. I mean,
I forgave him.
A couple child murders, but you did that. That's worse than a couple murders, right?
Look, I want to see if this happens to everybody. This happened to us anyway. We were like you. Fuck Theon Greyjoy. You are the reason that Winterfell is in this position. Like, you're supposed to be at home holding it down while Robb's back, like avenging us.
They
and,
were
like,
good to you when they didn't have to be.
They've been the best to you. They're the real family you've always known. And then he shits on him, kills the old cool guy. Like brutally, like Woody hacking his head off, like it's painfully and brutally, like an ugly death. I'll call it. And then like you said, killing those 2 children, and then skinning them and burning them or whatever the fuck he did, burning them, I think, to disguise their identities. But like eventually, like maybe 2 or 3 more episodes from now, you'll be like, you know what, you got him. Whoa! No, he's good now. No, you got him. Oh, no, not again.
You cannot do that. That's permanent.
He's on.
No.
Oh,
I'm fine with any
Theon. Don't change his name.
I'm fine with any of it. I know.
I wonder where you're going to land on Jaime Lannister. So Jaime Lannister, as you saw in maybe the first or second episode, he pushes Bran out the window. Yeah. And you're like, okay, Jaime Lannister, certified stinky poo-poo head. I hope he gets his. Mm-hmm. And then over time, you're like, that's rough.
I get that it's rough, but it's just like, I guess maybe it just it showed me something about myself that I didn't know. Like, I don't have a filter when it comes to like, maybe he should get his dick cut off. Like
there's lots of gray area things like that, because like, who's the bad guy there? The person who's clearly like a maniac who's torturing him. That's not a good guy.
Oh no, of course not. Of course he isn't.
I mean, it's 2 bad guys.
Awful people in a dungeon, but you can't look away, and that's not traditional storytelling, or at least traditional TV. Mm-hmm. Game of Thrones does a lot of things wonderfully. Ending was we're not going to rehash that, but
and one thing you mentioned is
right now is masterpiece.
Like, one thing Game of Thrones I like about it is so many of the characters are gray. There are very few characters. Jon Snow is maybe purely good, and Ned Stark I think was too. But most of them all have their pros and cons. You know,
even Stannis Baratheon, everything he does, he believes is right. And I don't want to spoil Tavares' show for him, but
oh no, I don't care. I don't care about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
The show's been out for years and years and years. Spoilers don't matter.
That's true. That's true. I'm saying, well, yeah, great show.
Anyway, he makes some decisions along the way where you're like, is the ends worth the means? Did I say that right? I think I did. Yeah. And you know, even good guys are not so great.
Yeah.
Are you guys into Downton Abbey?
The old British show. I have all that BritBox shit. But no, man. That isn't that like a British soap opera, but even more slow and less sexy.
So I thought this, and then I watched like 2 episodes, and I got hooked. I watched every season, and then I watched the 2 movies that they had.
Aren't there like a ton of seasons?
No. So this is like it's a relatively new show. So
I misunderstood then. To me, I thought it was like Young and the Restless, like that's been on for 30 years or something.
No. Downton Abbey is just it's been on for God, I don't know how many seasons. Somebody has to research this, but I think it might be 5 or 6. And then they had 2 movies, and it's all within the last, I'd say, 8 years that everything was shot. But it's the storyline is good. Everybody it's essentially takes place in one house. And it has, lords and ladies and all the staff. Everybody's a catty bitch. Like everybody's just super catty with each other, and they're all on the spectrum, and they don't know how to talk to one another. And it's written really, really well. I mean, the set design's great. The cinematography is good. I really did not expect to like this because I don't, I'm not the Sense and Sensibility, type of guy. But it was very, very good. So
my grandma likes that show, and I found out she liked it because she was like, I was trying to help her, set up her Netflix or something a couple of years ago, and she's like, "And you got that? Can you help me find Downtown Abbey on there?" And I was like, "Downtown Abbey," and she's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, I'm almost positive that's not what it's called. And then she was like, well, shit, I've been saying Downtown Abbey to my friends. Like, I've been saying, check out Downtown Abbey. But she was corrected. My grandma's a very sweet Southern lady. But,
and one of the seasons, Abbey actually shows up,
Yeah. I'll check that out maybe if there's a bunch of if I run out of other stuff.
Well, and like you've got a ways to go with I don't know how fast you watch shows, but whenever you finish up Game of Thrones, the prequel is out now, the House of Dragons, and